Welcome back. Right now, I am joined with founder of Cheering with Birgit. She's here today from the Netherlands. We're going to learn more about her journey, and everything that she is doing that is inspirational. It's going to be a great conversation. Birgit, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
So tell me more about yourself.
Well, more about myself. To keep it short, I founded Cheering with Birgit last year after I've been working for 2 years as a scuba instructor where people trusted me with their lives, obviously. And I had to cheer them on to come underwater with me, face their fears. And I really fell in love with doing that. But the downside is when you work as a scuba instructor, it's hard work, not much money, but it's great. But you have to be in a location all the time where there is sea and a good climate. Well, I am from the Netherlands. The weather isn't that great, so it's kind of hard to always be away. And actually, on my way back to the Netherlands, I popped over to Malta, and then I got the idea. So that's how I started doing actually quite the same, helping people face their fears, really win when you go through the fears, to the uncomfortable, to really get the best out of yourself and do something special for yourself this life. And stop doing what everybody wants you to do and do what you want to do yourself. That's what I do. Because I used to be somebody that was struggling a lot. I was working for 10 years in the corporate world as a hotel manager and headhunter. And it was just every day was okay. You get by, you look forward to the weekend, but there is always this feeling inside that you're like, meh, is this all? And you work so hard, you do everything great, but you just don't feel really happy. And that's in short who I am and what I do. Further, I'm from the Netherlands, but my last name is Turkish, as you can see. So I'm mixed. My mom is from here. And I'm 36 years old. And I have my own podcast as well. That's about it, I think.
Not to mention, you've lived in, I believe, 5 other countries. And I'm curious, as you have changed things that you've done, you've changed your career from, you mentioned being in tourism to being a scuba instructor, and now you're an inspirational and motivational speaker. You said you did it because you felt like there was something else, and it also made sense being a scuba instructor. You were cheering people on, and now you're doing the same thing. But I'm curious, those are really different industries. Those are big, big changes. How did you have the courage to take such a big step into this space, which is the motivational speaker podcast space?
Yeah, I started looking at who I was as a child and what I enjoyed doing. I was actually always taping these tapes from the radio and recording things with my friend. And I always liked to make shows and be out there. And I had a lot of summer jobs that were more entertaining, like animation teams, tour guide, all these kind of things. So I actually was doing the same. But to be fair, to make those changes and to quit a really well-paid job that a lot of people looked into, I was also in the management team, was a very tough thing to do. What actually made it more clear to me that I had to do that was by losing my father 2 years before I did that, after he has been ill for a long time, and just felt life's too short. I'm not happy. And every year I come back to the same doubts. And I was always pursuing the scuba career as a plan B when I was really fed up. And I have had that feeling that I was going to be fed up already for 10 years before I had the courage to do that. And yeah, it was scary. It still is.
So you've dealt with an eating addiction, extreme grief. How are you using these experiences that you've had in the past, not only in your career, but also the personal struggles that you've had? How do you bring that into your podcast and into your speaking?
Well, in the podcast in the first season, I just started storytelling for people to get an idea who I am. So I figured if I'm open about these things and the experiences, people realize they are not alone, because there's so many people with eating addictions, eating disorders, grief, loneliness. There's everybody has so much going on and we're feeling a lot of the same things and that they're really tough. And I make it okay by talking about it myself. I give others the space to do the same and make them feel like it's okay to do that. And further, I use the experience I had from living abroad, the eating addiction, the fights with myself, the sleepless nights. I use them as examples. So I use them also in my training and my coaching programs as an introduction, a storytelling, a warm-up to actually introduce exercises so people know where I come from and they can relate to it, although they might not have the same situation exactly. Everybody has a similar experience that provokes those feelings. And the situation can be different, but inside what's happening, everybody basically has the same emotions and the same sort of problems. So that's how I use it. And yeah, I just blend it in by being honest about my pain, but also having a good laugh about it. And I am the example. I show people what you win and how good you can feel. And look, when you come out on the other side. So I am the living proof that it's working because I experienced everything myself.
You have so much positivity and courage. I'm curious, you made this big change, as we mentioned, in your career. And then, of course, the pandemic hits. How are you able to continue that positive energy? And how has that changed what you're doing?
Well, I already luckily had the feeling that I wanted to work mainly online, except for the motivational speaking and things. I do that mainly on the podcast now and in my online trainings. And I would love to do more live things, but I'm still building up my business, so that's okay. And the trainings and the products that I've launched and that I will launch this year are on video. They're video trainings or live trainings via Zoom. I used WhatsApp. But with the pandemic, especially the regulations, some days they really hit me hard. I'm a really positive person, but yesterday even I just woke up and I love to travel and I was just so fed up. I can't go in a restaurant, I can't go anywhere. So sometimes I'm just really angry and really upset. But you know what it is? The trick is to just feel it. It's okay. I'm okay. I am allowed to be angry. I'm allowed to be upset. I'm allowed to be frustrated. And once I stop fighting those feelings and just feel them and not make them go away, or push them away or hide them, then they pass. Like everything will pass. And yeah, I just
appreciate
hope for better.
Your honesty is so refreshing and you're such an inspiring individual. How can we subscribe to your podcast and how can we follow along with you through social media and more?
Yeah, how to do that. I have a bit of difficult name, but I have a subscribe page for my podcast, and it's subscribe page. It's there. CWB Podcast. Thank you for that. It's kind of hard to explain. You can also follow me on Instagram. My handle is @Cheering With Birgit. Same for Facebook. So please follow me. And my current website, the temporary website, is shop@birgityegülalp.com. And there you can find more about me, what I'm offering right now. And
well, it's been such a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend with us all the way from the Netherlands. Birgit, we appreciate you being here, and I love the name of your company, Cheering With Birgit, and thanks again for your positivity and honesty during this tough time. We'll be back with more right after this.